Porto, located in northern Portugal at the confluence of the Douro River and the Atlantic Ocean, has been a trading city since its beginnings as a Roman colony. It also has a plethora of cultural and historical attractions, including a newly renovated medieval area along the gorgeous coastline. Beautiful examples of Baroque architecture may also be found throughout the Old Town. Because most of Porto's key tourist attractions are near together, walking tours are a terrific way to see the city. Port wine, the country's largest export, is Porto's most well-known contribution to Portuguese culture. Porto tours usually include visits to the port wine caves in Villanova De Gaia, close across the river. Let's explore the best places to visit in Porto. Number 1. Cais da Ribeira. Porto's riverbank area is a very lovely piazza where tourists and residents mix. It's a little chaotic but a lot of fun to explore. There are pubs and restaurants on every corner, and the riverbank stroll is no exception. From here, you'll have a great view of the renowned Dom Luís Bridge, and if you go through the arcades, you'll find a perplexing maze of steep alleyways and stairways between pastel-painted houses in various states of repair. In recent years, the Cais da Ribeira has been spruced up a bit, with information boards put to teach you about the district's characters and enterprises when it was Porto's hive of trade. It's also a starting point for river excursions and boat journeys to Villanova De Gaia's port wine cellars. The Cais da Ribeira also provides convenient access to the Dom Luís Bridge for people traveling by foot or car. 2. Dom Luís Bridge. The majestic Dom Luís Bridge is one of Portugal's most recognizable structures. The majestic sweep and two-tier look of the bridge, which spans the huge river Douro to connect Porto with Villanova De Gaia on the south bank, is a binding component in the city's strong social fabric. Gustave Eiffel's name is all over the strongly riveted charcoal gray ironwork, and it was an assistant of the famed French engineer who erected the bridge in 1886. The bridge is used by commuters every day. A road passes across the lower deck, while the higher span houses a metro railway line. Pedestrians can stroll across the structure on the narrow walkways on either side of the road, or they can take the 16-meter-high top-tier footpath. 3. Porto Cathedral. Porto sightseeing should always involve a visit to the city's cathedral. Indeed, the sweeping view from the terrace of the old town streets and the tranquil river Douro serves as a terrific opener, priming the senses for what's to come. The cathedral, a magnificent 12th-century monument, has the intimidating look of its towers and the gloomy complexion of its facade, giving it the image of a fortress. The peaceful Baroque cloisters paneled with sky-blue azulejo tiles, as well as a lovely 13th-century rose window situated in the west front, are redeeming characteristics. Allow yourself some time to take in the medieval aura and serene setting. A faded 18th-century granite staircase leads to the chapter house, which is encased in even more beautiful tile work. The exquisite silver retabule in the tiny chapel to the left of the chancel is another highlight. Finish your visit by perusing the treasury of the cathedral, which houses a stunning wealth of gold and silver. 4. Avenida dos Aliados. Porto's major street is lined with cafes, hotels, banks, and boutiques, many of which are situated in aesthetically spectacular structures. This large avenue, located in the center of Porto, immediately southeast of the famed Balio Market, is named after a 14th-century partnership between Portugal and England. The cupolas and cornices of most of the structures have complex designs. Porto's granite and marble town hall, Humberto Delgado Square, and Liberdade Square are all worth seeing. Artists, street performers, and festivals frequent the middle section of the boulevard. The ideal way to appreciate Avenida dos Aliados is to take a leisurely stroll down the street and find a nice spot to get some coffee. Bring your camera or phone to capture some sights from everyday life in Porto. 5. Clarago's Tower. Like a colossal needle, the rising Clarago's Tower punctuates Porto's skyline. This 75-meter-tall, 18th-century granite hewn rocket is the city's most conspicuous feature, and viewing this historic edifice should be high on your things-to-do list. The 240 steps to the top of the tower will require strong legs, but the effort will be rewarded with a stunning perspective of the river, the coastline, and the distant Douro Valley, a bird's-eye view of Portugal's second-largest city, and an exciting way for first-time sightseers to establish their bearings. The Baroque Tower was commissioned by the Brotherhood of the Clarigos and created by Nicola Nasoni, an Italian-born architect. It complements the adjacent Clarigos Church, which is also Nasoni's work. The church, which was erected between 1732 and 1750, is a superb example of the architect's affection for the Baroque and boasts an elliptic layout. One of the earliest in Portugal, the tower, however, remains the focal point in its tapered form, visible from most sections of the city at any time of day or night, serves as a historic beacon. 6. St. Francis Church. As visitors approach the gorgeous Church of St. Francis, they are engulfed with gold. Its 18th century Baroque interior is coated with a dazzling and flamboyant gilded veneer that many consider to be one of the best examples of wrought gold anywhere in the country. This is, without a doubt, a priceless sightseeing opportunity. The high altar, columns, and pillars are all covered in gilded carving, with only a few patches of stone exposed. As you approach the north wall, and St. Francisco's Tree of Jesse, a family tree in gilded and painted wood showing Christ's genealogy, keep an eye out for joyful cherubs and solemn monks. The tree, which was carved between 1718 and 1721, shows excellent detail in the emotions of Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, as well as other figures such as King David, Solomon, and Jesse himself, which leaves onlookers dumbfounded. Visitors can return to Earth by touring the ancient catacombs beneath the church, but there are more treasures from the church's monastery to see in the museum thereafter. 7. Villanova De Gaia. Villanova De Gaia is an appealing diversion with its long, broad promenade and riverbank location. The town's beautiful quayside is bordered by a long line of fashionable restaurants and cafes, and is easily reached on foot by crossing the Dom Luce Bridge. It's also where a number of Douro River cruise boats depart from. The fleet of traditional barcos rebelos, moored alongside the esplanade, adds a charmingly evocative viewpoint. With Porto's Iberia area providing a suitably romantic backdrop, sightseers are regaled with an enchanting cityscape, a tableau reminiscent of the 18th century. Take a ride on the Teleferico de Gaia, or cable car, for a truly spectacular view. This innovative new tourist attraction connects the higher station, near the Mosteiro da Serra do Pila, to the Esplanade's eastern end, along the Gaia riverbank. 8. Parque da Cidade. With more than 200 acres, Parque da Cidade, or Porto City Park, is one of northern Portugal's largest parks. It contains almost 6 miles of bike and walking trails and is a popular site for picnics and other outdoor activities, especially on weekends. The park houses the Sea Life Porto, a privately managed aquarium with hundreds of marine animals, as well as the Water Pavilion, which was originally part of Expo 98 in Lisbon, but was recreated in the park and stresses the importance of water to Portugal's history and culture. The park stretches all the way to the Atlantic Ocean, providing easy access to the area's beaches, which is a popular feature. Parque da Cidade is well organized and well maintained, according to park visitors. Adults and children both enjoyed the park, as one might imagine. 9. Palacio da Balsa. Porto's former stock exchange, which dates from the mid-19th century, is rich in historical significance. The luxurious interior, which was built on the site of a Franciscan convent, is divided into various rooms and salons, each one unique in its appeal and deserving of attentive examination. Pretend you're a wealthy merchant visiting on business as you go through the portrait room with its gallery of uniformed rulers, and then gaze up at the gilded stucco ceiling of the golden room. In the luxuriously furnished chairman's room, you'll be ready for your meeting with the boss before joining fellow merchants in the richly adorned court hearing room to observe commercial law in action, before convening in the beautiful Hall of Nations to mingle with the great and the good. You might want to stop into the nearby juror's room, but save the best for last by sneaking off to the stunning Arabian room, which was inspired by Granada's Alhambra and is the only area where a tour of the Balsa can be purchased. 10. Ahaveda Bridge, which opened in 1963, is the Douro's final bridge before the Atlantic. When it was completed, it had the world's largest span for a concrete arch bridge, and 136,000 cars passed through it every 24 hours. While this information is interesting, the new bridge climbing activity is what has really put the Ahaveda Bridge on the map. Before inching your way up the arch beneath the traffic crossing, you'll be outfitted with safety gear and tied to a safety line. The Douro and the older section of Porto will be at your feet once you reach the top.